Okay, so game 2, or at least I think it's game 2. The games weren't actually relabeled game 1 and 2, so I don't know which order these games happened in, but this is the second one that I'm casting. So it's Louos, the Zerg player, in the top left of Parasite, and in the bottom right, JackTheFace playing Terran. Now, yeah, you know, in the last game, we saw that a small number of Lings got into the Terran men and actually pretty much ended the game. The game went on for about another 10 minutes, but ultimately so much damage had been done that there was no way back for the Terran, and partially that happened because there wasn't a complete wall off at the top of the ramp. So let's see whether or not JackTheFace does it differently this time. The barracks is in about the right place, but you know, why build the depots here? Why not just build them there? You've got to build them somewhere. Why not build them at the top of the ramp? It's no extra effort to build them here. I don't know. Anyway, this time there is a worker heading across the map, presumably to do a bit of scouting. Louos, pretty standard stuff. The hatchery is building, the spawning pool is building, the gas is building, exactly what you would expect to see in a Zerg base at about this time in the game. So things looking very normal, very straight up for our Zerg player. Over in Terran land, we've got the single gas. The only thing that is not quite normal about this picture is there aren't as many workers as I would expect. There's also this second worker coming out. I'm not sure what is up with that. This guy is going to come in and have a scout. It looks like this fella might be off to do a cheeky bit of ninja expanding. So that, yeah, looks like that's what it's going to be. So our Terran player has got enough minerals in the bank for a command center, so I think that's about to happen. Meanwhile, it looks like this worker is going to get trapped in the corner and killed, but our Terran player has seen, I think, enough of his opponent's base. So he knows the spawning pool is finished, he knows there's gas mining, he knows that the expand is done. And he knows that he's got nothing to worry about in terms of, did the Zerg player do something really freaky, really bizarre? The short answer is no, he didn't. These Lings, on the other hand, haven't been over the other side of the map yet, and only now is the Overlord arriving. So, you know, it's only now that Louos manages to see what's going on at his opponent's base. Odd positioning of the supply depot at the bottom of the ramp, don't know about that. These two Marines can definitely kill this Overlord, and that can be a real pain, because that can supply block you and will supply block Louos and will just halt production. So, you know, if you're in this position, as soon as your Overlord starts taking fire from a couple of Marines like that, you start building a new one, because you're going to lose it. 2 Marines, an Overlord just can't run away fast enough. 1 Marine, it sort of depends on where it is. To be honest, sending the Overlord straight up the middle of the center ramp isn't the best plan. If you send it in around the edge or somewhere like that, it can dive in and it can get a long way into the base before it's spotted, and it can maybe have a look, or it can skirt around the edge and come in from the back so that it's over the cliff and it does have a chance of running away then. But yeah, as soon as an Overlord starts taking fire, so basically build a new one to avoid getting supply blocked. Anywho, Queen outspreading creep, like to see that. Creep is an important aspect of your sort of macro play as a Zerg. It's an important part of just the standard mechanics of playing Zerg, to spread creep. Creep, you know, speeds up your units, gives you vision. It's all around good stuff. Worth noting that the more tumors you have next to each other, the faster the creep spreads. So you know, don't be shy about using the Queen to plant a second one even right next to this, so that you can then just drop 2 more and 2 more and so on. Yeah, all good. Spore crawler being built. Yeah, okay. I'm not really sure why, or, you know, I'm not against spore crawlers, but this is a weird location for a spore. I mean, what's this spore defending you against when you're playing against Terran? A cloak banshee, perhaps? Well, that's going to come in here and attack your workers out of range. Maybe a liberator, again, that comes in here. This spore is out of range. Maybe a drop. The drop lands here, and the Marines run up to here, and the medevac is miles away from that spore. So I don't really know what that spore is going to defend against I can't think of a good reason why a Terran would have a flying unit in this region whatsoever. So the Ninja Expand is up and mining, but look, no workers being built. JackTheFace, come on, you've only got 11 workers in your main. You've got this Ninja Expand, and that can be fantastic, you know, that extra income. But like the command center on its own doesn't generate money. You do need to build the workers. So there we go, finally some workers in production. But you know, still only 11 of 16 at home. It's not good enough. It's as simple as that. We are 5.5 minutes into this game and you don't yet have a saturated base. You know, that to me just simply spells disaster. Let's have a look at the income tab. You know, the Zerg player is doubling your income almost. I mean, that's not right. You can't possibly win a game where you spend half the resources of another player. No matter, you know, no matter how good your micro, no matter how good your other stuff in general, if your opponent spends twice as many resources as you on units, you die. And the choice of units and the choice of strategies kind of become academic. Anywho, these bunkers are looking very, very strong defensively. You know, there's some randomly scattered supply depots. There's a couple of workers standing idle. There's still no production of workers happening here, and yeah, I just don't really know what to make of this. You know, you've spent a lot on bunkers, but you don't really have any units. You've barely got it. You've only got this one barracks, and it isn't even building any marines. And you know, bunkers on their own don't do anything. They've got to have marines in them, so, or marauders in them. So you know. What? I don't know. I don't know, man. Build some more barracks. Look, you're building another bunker, but what are you going to fill it with? SCVs, so they can look out and go, job's done. No, build units. Units are better than bunkers, and bunkers. You know, I'm just concerned by this apparent lack of production. And it's killing me that there's still only 11 workers there. It's really beginning to rile me up. I am getting right riled up by this. Randomly situated supply depots and bunkers are not going to help you survive the swarm, because they're empty. These bunkers are empty. You know, bunkers are great things, but not when there's no units in them. Bases are great, Ninja Expands are great, but only if you saturate them. You're 9 of 16 here, you're 11 of 16 here. You've only got 20 workers actually mining minerals, compared to your opponent who's, you know, got full saturation there, got full saturation there. And as a Zerg player, it won't take very long to saturate this as well. Let's have a look at the, whoops, what did I press there? What I wanted was the army supply. So heavily in favor of Louos. The worker supply isn't as drastic as you might think, which makes me suspect that perhaps our Terran player has several idle workers parked about the place. I'm not sure. Well, there's one that's doing some building of bunkers that will remain empty. There's another. Yeah, so you know, even the workers you do have aren't even mining. Anyway, let's see how these bunkers fare. You know, bunkers are at their very best when surrounded by SCVs on auto repair, so that as they take damage, they get patched up. These two Marines are wandering off to nowhere. There's going to be another bunker built over here. Rarely, this is actually the most bunkers that I've ever seen in a game of StarCraft, I think. You know, people don't generally build that many bunkers. You don't often see this many. Who knows? Anyway, this is more than enough to smash through this. You know, these bunkers won't count for anything against that many Ravagers. The corrosive balls, you know, will just launch up in the air and rain down on these bunkers and smash them. Especially if they're empty. So look, this bunker doesn't even quite get finished. The Marines that were ready to go into it, it was going to be one of the few bunkers that actually have Marines in, but they never made it that far. So the SCV's taking out this command center isn't going to be finished. Louos just is now shooting his own units for want of, I'm not sure why. These two Cyclones don't quite have what it takes to hold off this much Roach Ravager. In fact, they're going to die instantly. This bunker is well positioned, but will have no Marines in it. You know, this barracks, I don't know, not quite finished. This barracks is now building stuff, but they're rallied to somewhere over here. Where they need to be rallied to is into this bunker. So I don't know, I think Louos is giving these bunkers at the front line too much respect. I mean, bunkers are good, but they're not indestructible, you know, they're not magical. You can just A-click this and win Louos. You know, these road ravages are 1-1 even, whereas the Marines don't even have combat shield. So the SCVs do come down to do the repair, and corrosive bombs are brilliant for that as well, because a corrosive bomb in amongst the SCVs will kill them. So as you can see, you know, bunkers or no bunkers, this is just way too much stuff. You just A-click in, and all of this is going to die. Pretty sharpish, really. More corrosive bombs, please. Corrosive bombs on the bunkers, onto the SCVs, repairing them. There it is. So only 2 Marines left defending this guy. Is he going to make it into the bunker? He's just going to stand near it and shoot from there. The SCV is running into the corner. They won't find any solace in the corner. And here it comes, the whole Roach Ravager shooting match. So it's a mauling, basically, isn't it? It's some sort of horrible massacre. JackTheFace currently at 56 of 23 supply, having lost that, so he can no longer build any units until he builds a lot of supply depots. There's bunkers everywhere over here, but they just don't have anything in it. This is quite a lot of Cyclones, and Cyclones pretty good against Roach Ravager. You know, Cyclones do a reasonable amount of DPS against things like roaches. You can see that their blasters do extra damage against armored units, so that does make them a good choice against these roaches, but there are not enough here. You know, the army supply, there it is. That's a serious imbalance. Louos now with so much money in the bank as well, that even if he throws this army away, even if this dies to be one nuke right now, he can just lean on the R button and be at back up to 170 supply in no time. That is some serious oversaturation there, so you know, go ahead and drop another base. You might as well. So he's got to be out on the map now, looking for where his opponent is at. JackTheFace has decided to counter. I don't know about that decision. I'd be trying to set up something defensive at home, you know, siege tanks or whatever. You know, Louos again is just kind of giving this defensive setup slightly too much respect. These can actually get quite a lot done, because as they step in here, there isn't really anything at home. I don't know why you wouldn't kill the Queen. It's the thing shooting. Just might as well take it out and not get shot so much. Yeah, so the Queens go down, the hatch goes down, but the bigger story is down here. All of these Roach Ravager piling into this base. Oh, that's a horrible thing. Look, infestors just walking to their death in amongst those bunkers. Yeah, Louos can simply dispatch some units to go home and deal with this. I think, you know, why not build units at home as well? You've got lots of larvae here. You could just turn all your idle larvae into enough roaches. Uh-oh, I've just somehow hit the Windows button and bounced to the desktop. Yeah, into enough roaches to defend this, really. So it's kind of, I hesitate to call it a base race, because Louos can come home and clean this up. JackTheFace can't really do anything about the army that he's tearing up his base. So once these Cyclones are cleaned up, you would expect a GG. I don't think there's going to be one. Look, he's building over here, but it's on the edge of the creep, so Louos is going to know about this pretty sharpish. Why wouldn't you clean these buildings up before you go? Please do, please. Yeah, you know, this tournament already has more than its share of sort of salty Terrans hiding buildings about the map, and we are not going to see that this time. So JackTheFace taps out, and it is 2-0 to Louos, who will go through to the round of it, joining some other people who have we already had in the round of it. Well, we've already got Katie and Ethan, so that is, I'm trying to remember Katie's Battleneck Tower. Oh, it's like Demiax, isn't it? Demiax and Zeminus are through already. Adam is
through. Now Louos is through. Who else is through? Who did I cast last night? Who was it that played against Waffle Master? That was, wait for it, I've got this, come on. No, I haven't got this. Anyway, they're through as well, so the round of it is shaping up nicely. I'm waiting for results from, let's see, Luke and Angus Goose. Although I do know the result of that game, but I'm waiting for the replays. And I'm also waiting for Caduceus versus, who was Caduceus against? Someone, and Papa Franks against Isildur. Those are the games that I am outstanding. Those two, I think. Has Caduceus played? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I'll probably email out people tonight, and we might as well start getting the round of it matches underway. And I think we're going to go best of 5 for the round of it. So that should be pretty cool. Okay, GG.